Hey guys, today I'm going to be teaching you how to build a computer. In a world where technology is advancing as fast as it is, I think it's important for everyone to have a basic understanding of how they work so you don't fall behind. So let's get into this. Alright, so the first part of the computer we're going to be installing is the motherboard. And this is the part where every single part in your computer connects to. You can think of it almost as the brain of your computer. Alright, to install your motherboard, all you have to do is set it down adjacent to your USB ports and your audio ports. As you can see, gently line it up. Bam. Once those are in, you just get your screws and screw it in accordingly. Alright, so next I'm going to be installing my RAM. All RAM does is just random background processes in your computer. It's really easy to install. You just have to identify your 4 RAM slots on your computer. Once you've identified those, you just put it into a corresponding color. So I'm going to be putting this into the gray slot. You just slide in your RAM into the slot and then press down on both sides until it clicks in. So one side, next side. So next, I'm going to be installing my CPU, which is a central processing unit. This does all the main processes on your computer. This is fairly easy to install also. You just set it down into your CPU socket. You feel it not budging, that's when you know it's in. Then you just apply some pressure and put down this lever, and it's in. So next, we're going to be installing the CPU's fan, which is called the heatsink. This is fairly easy. All you do is set it directly on top of your CPU. Once it's in, there's 2 locks. You put the right side in, and then once that's in, you can get the left one around. And then pull up the lever, and it's locked. There's also a CPU fan cord that you just put into the cable that says CPU fan. Ta-da. So next, we're going to be installing our power supply. This just gives you power to all of the parts in your computer. There's a little slot next to the motherboard that you can see, and it also has a little, cutout. Just slide it into the right position. Once that's in there, you see screw holes, you just screw it in accordingly. So next, we're going to be installing the memory into the computer. So in front of me, I have 2 parts, all right? They both do the same exact thing, but are different in about one way. This is a hard drive. It stores memory like normal, but it has moving parts, as you can see by the circular fan. Right here, we have an SSD, which stands for a solid state drive, which has no moving parts, and it uploads and downloads speeds way faster than the hard drive. For sake of the video, I'm going to be installing the SSD. To install your SSD, it's fairly easy. You just need 2 cords. You need your SATA power, which is the big one, and then your SATA data, which is a small one. You just plug those cords in accordingly to your SSD. Once you do that, you have 2 choices to put your SSD. You can put it in the bay right here, or you could just set it down in a safe place in your computer, like that. Now that we have all the essential parts of the computer installed, we can go ahead and power the motherboard. You can do this by plugging in the 24 pin into the 24 pin slot on the motherboard. There's only one of these, so it'll be pretty easy. You just hear a click, and it's in. Even though we just plugged in the 24 pin adapter, we still need something to power the CPU separately. This is done by plugging in your 4-prong. This is clearly labeled CPU, so you know which one it is. You just plug this into the corresponding 4-prong adapter that's right next to your heatsink. This one can be a little tricky since how close it is to other parts on your motherboard. So next, we're going to be installing a graphics card. So this is not required for your computer to operate correctly, but if you plan on doing any high-end gaming or video editing, installing one of these is definitely a good idea. So if you look at this graphics card, on the bottom, it has a PCIe slot. You want to plug that into the corresponding PCIe slot on your motherboard. And also, if you look at it, you can see that it has a 6-pin adapter. This is what powers the graphics card. Not all graphics cards have one of these, but this one does. So after installing our graphics card, we're done building our computer. Now all you gotta do is plug it into the wall and start it up. Now that the boot up process is over with, I'm ready to put in my passcode. And it's ready to go.